How's it going, everyone, and welcome to a Fallout 76 discussion where I'm going to be talking about 3 important details that you should know about this upcoming game. So for those of you who aren't informed, Fallout 76 is the next confirmed upcoming Fallout game from Bethesda Game Studios. We were introduced to Fallout 76 just earlier today in a teaser trailer on Twitch and then later on YouTube. And for those of you who were late to the party and don't really know what's going on, I'm going to be discussing 3 key details about Fallout 76 that you should be aware of. So first up, we have the timeline. Now, Fallout 76 is going to be taking place in the year 2102, which is just 25 years after the Great War happened. Now this is interesting because pretty much every other Fallout game we have played, Fallout 3, New Vegas, Fallout 4, every one of those games has taken place at least a few hundred years after the Great War happened, so seeing the wasteland in a new perspective just 2.5 decades after the bombs dropped is going to be quite fascinating. The only problem that I see with an early timeline in a Fallout game is the fact that we're not going to get the factions that we all know and love, the Brotherhood of Steel, the NCR, simply because they haven't formed yet. So I'm hoping that Bethesda has brainstormed some new interesting factions that we'll be able to interact with in Fallout 76. Now next up is the setting. Now the setting for Fallout 76 is pretty much confirmed at this point. Bethesda hasn't really gone into detail as where the game will be taking place, but if we look back into some records from Fallout 3, if you go into the Citadel and look on one of the Vault-Tec terminals, you can actually find information on Vault 76 specifically saying that it is located in Virginia. But also if you watched the Fallout 76 trailer, you can hear the song Take Me Home Country Roads by John Denver playing in the background as it mentions multiple times the location of West Virginia. Now what we are not sure of is if Fallout 76 is going to be taking place in West Virginia or just Virginia. Some might think it's West Virginia because of the song reference, and others might think it's just Virginia because of the information that you could find on the Vault-Tec terminal in the Citadel in Fallout 3. So depending on what state the game takes place in, I see 2 outcomes for a main city. If the game was to take place in West Virginia, I see the main city being Charleston, as that is the capital of West Virginia. But if the game was to take place in Virginia, I would see the main city that the game revolves around being Richmond, which is the capital of Virginia. The reason I say this is because previous Fallout games have followed a somewhat similar pattern in the past, like New Vegas taking place in Las Vegas, Nevada, or Fallout 4 taking place in Boston, Massachusetts. I know that Las Vegas isn't the capital of Nevada, but it is the highest populated and probably most well-known city in Nevada. And if Bethesda Game Studios really wanted to make Fallout 76 a big game, then personally I think the most logical design choice would be to set the game in the biggest, most popular city in whatever state the game is set in this case Virginia or West Virginia. Now the last thing that I'm going to be mentioning in this video is something that has shocked many people who've been looking forward to Fallout 76, and that is a rumored multiplayer / co-op mode. Now this rumor is coming from somebody who actually works at Kotaku known as Jason Schreier. He's actually been a very reliable leaker in the past. If you guys don't remember, this is the same guy that actually leaked the script for the beginning sequences of Fallout 4, as well as what seems to be concept art of the Sole Survivor holding a 10mm pistol before the game was even out. So because of that information alone, I would find it very strange if this rumor actually turned out to be false. So the article starts off with sources: Fallout 76 is an online survival RPG. When Bethesda announced Fallout 76 with a teaser trailer this morning, promising more information at E3, it was easy to assume that the new game would be a traditional single-player role-playing game. But Fallout 76 is in fact an online survival RPG that's heavily inspired by games like DayZ and Rust, according to 3 people familiar with the project. Those people, speaking anonymously so as to not damage their careers, confirmed that Fallout 76 is an experimental new entry in the long-running post-apocalyptic series. When Bethesda first teased the game on Tuesday morning, fans and pundits speculated that it might be a Fallout 3 remaster or a New Vegas-style spin-off in a new location, but as Kotaku reported that afternoon, it is in fact something completely new and completely different. The teaser might lead Fallout fans to believe that this is a traditional entry in the series, but according to our sources, that's not the case. Originally prototyped as a multiplayer version of Fallout 4 with the goal of envisioning what an online Fallout game might look like, Fallout 76 has evolved quite a bit over the past few years, those sources said. It It will have quests and a story, like any other game from Bethesda Game Studios, a developer known for meaty RPGs like Skyrim. It will also feature base building just like 2015's Fallout 4 and other survival-based multiplayer mechanics according to those sources. One source cautioned that the gameplay is rapidly changing, like it does in many online service games, but that's the core outline. The game is named after the series Vault 76, which has been mentioned in both Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. According to Fallout lore, Vault 76 was meant to be opened just 20 years after the nuclear war, allowing for a far less civilized setting than previous games. Fallout 3 and 4, which are full of cities and settlements, both take place over 200 years after the war, after much of the population has had time to reconstruct human civilization. Fallout 76 will feel very different. As the narrator of the trailer says, when the fighting is stopped and the fallout has settled, you must rebuild. Fallout 76 is in development not just at Bethesda Game Studios' main office in Maryland, where the likes of Skyrim and Fallout 4 were made, but also at the company's newest branch in Austin, according to our sources. That Austin studio, formerly known as Battlecry Studios, has been working on an online hero combat game called Battlecry before that game was cancelled. We have concerns about the Battlecry game and whether it is meeting the objectives we have for it, Bethesda told press in the fall of 2015. We are evaluating what improvements the game needs to meet our quality standards. The studio remains busy during this process on multiple projects. In March, Bethesda announced that Battlecry Studios had become part of Bethesda Game Studios. Bethesda did not respond to a request for comment. We'll see more of Fallout 76 at the publisher's E3 press conference on June 10th. Now, a lot of people are pretty on board with this, and a lot of people aren't. Personally, I'm half and half. On one side of the spectrum, I would love to play Fallout with some friends. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and to actually be able to do it in this upcoming Fallout sequel would be amazing. But on the other hand, I'm hoping that Bethesda doesn't contribute too much time into the multiplayer to eventually take away from the single player, as that's what Fallout is all about. It's all about the single player exploration experience, and I'm hoping that Bethesda doesn't take away from that and focuses more on the multiplayer aspect, as that's something that should just be a side activity, and I feel like the single player should always come first, as that's what Fallout is really all about, and that's what all of us really want in a Fallout game, is a really good single player open world exploration experience. And if Fallout was to just go full on multiplayer and co-op, then that would technically be going against Bethesda's #SavePlayer1 that they launched sometime late last year, which was to promote single player gaming. So in that case, Bethesda would either just be straight up selling out to something like the Battle Royale genre, or who knows, maybe they just changed their minds and wanted to do something new, but I pretty much doubt that. But I would really like to know what you guys think about Fallout 76, so leave your comments down below. What do you want to see out of this game, and do you think it is going to succeed? Personally, I'm not hating on the whole multiplayer / co-op thing. I actually think it's a really good idea if executed well. I'm just hoping that Bethesda Game Studios does not put most of the time into multiplayer, and they put just as much, if not more time, into the single player, because that is what us as a community truly love in these types of games, is huge open worlds to explore and going on our own adventures, along with keeping ourselves entertained for hundreds and hundreds of hours inside these worlds, interacting with different characters, and just having an overall great time. But until then, I'll be seeing all of you next time.